Some fires burn in silence, hidden from the world, yet impossible to extinguish. That's what Maddox was to me, a flame I never meant to ignite, but couldn't put out once it started. By day, we were nothing more than friends. Two men who laughed, argued, and pretended like nothing existed between us. But when the night came and shadows stretched across the room, every secret we buried clawed its way out. I still remember the first night he crossed that line, the weight of his stare, the way my heart betrayed me, and how my soul decided to fall. The first night it happened, it was raining. Maddox and I had been sitting in my living room. The storm outside crashing against the windows like it had something to say. He was leaning back on the couch, his green eyes catching the soft glow of the lamp, making him look almost untouchable. And yet, that was the problem. I wanted to touch him. Every laugh, every brush of his arm against mine, every accidental glance made my chest ache. I told myself it was wrong, that friends don't look at each other that way. But when Maddox leaned in, asking if I was cold or just quiet, my breath stuttered. I couldn't tell if he saw through me or if he was teasing. Either way, the silence between us was dangerous. It wasn't empty. It was charged. The storm grew louder, thunder shaking the walls, but I only heard my own pulse hammering in my ears. Maddox shifted closer, his shoulder brushing mine. I stiffened, but he didn't move away. It was reckless, the way my skin came alive just from that slight contact. I wanted to say something, anything, but words tangled in my throat. Then, without warning, Maddox let out a low laugh and said, "You're too tense. Relax, man." His hand landed on my thigh, casual but firm. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't playful. My heart leapt into my throat, and before I could think, I turned toward him. Our eyes locked, and the storm outside seemed to vanish. The only storm that mattered was inside the room, inside us. I swallowed hard, torn between pulling away and leaning in. Maddox didn't flinch. He just looked at me with that infuriating calm, as if he knew exactly what I was fighting. That was Maddox's power. He always seemed to know me better than I knew myself. And in that moment, I knew he wasn't going to move first. He wanted me to decide. My chest rose and fell, my fists clenched, and then I did the thing I promised myself I never would. I leaned closer. It wasn't a kiss yet, but it was the kind of closeness that made every breath ache. My forehead brushed his breath warm against my lips. He didn't stop me. He whispered, finally, and my world fell apart in the best way possible. Maddox's whisper lingered in the air, heavier than the storm outside. Finally, that single word undid me. My resolve cracked, and the distance between us vanished. His lips brushed mine, hesitant at first, like he was giving me one last chance to pull away. But I didn't. I couldn't. Maddox's whisper lingered in the air, heavier than the storm outside. Finally, that single word undid me. My resolve cracked, and the distance between us vanished. His lips brushed mine, hesitant at first, like he was giving me one last chance to pull away. But I didn't. I couldn't. He deepened the kiss, and the air between us burned hotter than the storm could cool. My body moved without thought, pulling him down until he hovered above me on the couch. His hand slid across my jaw, his thumb tracing the corner of my lips. We broke apart just long enough to breathe, foreheads pressed together, both of us shaking, not from fear, but from the intensity of what had just begun. "You don't know how long I've wanted this," Maddox confessed, his voice low, raw. My chest tightened. "Then why didn't you say something?" I asked. He smirked faintly. "Because I thought you'd run." And he wasn't wrong. I probably would have. But right now, with his weight against me, the thought of running felt impossible. I wanted to stay, to surrender, to burn in this fire with him. We moved to the bedroom, the storm following us like an echo. The shadows seemed to dance along the walls as Maddox pushed me gently onto the bed. His touch was slow, deliberate, as if he wanted to memorize every part of me. I couldn't stop staring at him. The way his dark shirt clung to him, the way his eyes never left mine. Every second stretched, heavy with anticipation. But Maddox didn't rush. He cupped my face, kissed me softer this time, and it felt like something deeper, like love trying to break through lust. I grabbed his wrist, holding him there, not wanting the moment to ever end. What happens after this? I whispered. He leaned down, lips brushing my ear. We stopped pretending. My breath caught. That was all I needed. Pretending was over. The night was ours. The hours blurred after that. Kisses, whispers, laughter swallowed by the storm. When dawn came, the world outside carried on as if nothing had happened. But inside, everything had changed. Maddox lay beside me, his arm draped over my chest, his breath warm on my neck. We didn't speak, but we didn't need to. The fire between us hadn't gone out. It had only begun, and as the sunlight crept through the blinds, I knew a dangerous truth. We could never go back. Our nights would remain our secret, but they were also a promise. Maddox wasn't just a flame I stumbled into. He was a fire I would never escape.